Hey Julian, I walked past here and I thought, oh, I remember we talked about this on Sonic Talk, and so this is the Dialog audio modulation processor, which has a very interesting twist on kind of modulating CV, MIDI and system exclusive, right? So perhaps you could just take us through how it works.
Yeah, I will.
So where does it start?
We start with audio CV. So we produce CV control voltages from the plugin and send it out of our DC coupled audio interface
right
to, in this case, to a Moog Motor 32. Let's go.
Right, so we're going into the filter.
So, I take the plug out, so there's no modulation. Put it back into the cutoff of the filter, and we clearly hear the modulation. And oscilloscope shows us the waveform which is actually produced.
Right, so you got an envelope and a kind of...
Yeah, so maybe the routing is a bit complex in this moment, but okay.
So that's kind of fair, that's not unusual, I suppose, that side of things. So
yeah.
You get that. So, but you're also doing it with MIDI messages as well, right?
Yes, right. So the plugin is capable to send either audio CV messages as shown, or we can send MIDI CC messages or MIDI SYSEX messages.
So I was wondering about that, because SYSEX is notorious, particularly in the older synths, is
a
bit buffery, shall we say. So how do you kind of generate enough data, how does it process the data fast enough at the synth end?
Yeah, right. So I think we did a lot of testing. Maybe one of the slowest processing units, MIDI processing units, is a Matrix 1000. So you really have to go down with the rate with the data sending to this unit, because otherwise the unit will be totally clutched.
Yeah, I suppose is there a kind of maximum LFO rate that you can achieve with this method, speed-wise? Yeah.
Yeah, usually you should send MIDI CC or MIDI SYSEX messages at a rate at 32 messages per second.
So you can adjust that, right?
So first I need to switch from audio CV to MIDI CC. Down here, since version 9.4, we added a message per second rate. So you can choose the rate at which you want to send the data to the receiving device. Usually 32 is a number which is quite fine for vintage gear. Sometimes you need to go lower if the processing unit is very slow.
Okay, and what about in terms of if you're sending those messages and you've got, I mean, how fast can your LFOs and envelopes go? How fast can they spit out the data, and how quickly can the synth respond to it, I suppose, is the question.
Okay, the LFOs are quite fast. They go up to 20 hertz. So the rate, it depends on the rate at which you hear a stepping. So usually you hear stepping at something like below 15 or below 20 messages per second. So usually something like 32 messages per second is a very good average.
So would that be 32 messages per second? What would that equate to in terms of hertz?
Sorry.
What would that be? 32 messages a second in hertz?
In hertz? I don't know. That's not a problem, because I produce a waveform and I just take at 32.
So you sample it. Ah,
yeah.
Okay, right. So it's then up to the synth to interpolate that data, right? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's noisy. They've just turned so it's up to the synth to interpolate that data that you send it, right?
No, actually it's no problem, because I just have a waveform running in audio rate speed. So if your DAW is running at 44.1 kilohertz, so I will produce the data for that. But I just take the samples I need per second to send to the system.
Okay, so I noticed you've got a lovely old JX8P here. Is that running?
Yeah, I will, but I need to change the track for this showcase. So we go here. Quickly need to load a preset.
Okay, so this is running as an AU plugin, I guess.
Yeah. So this is a preset for the JX8P. Down here you see SYSEX message which will be sent to the JX8P. I will turn this off, so we also can see the data coming out of the MIDI interface into the synthesizer. I'll start the sound, and you clearly see that the VCF of the JX8P is modulated by the plugin.
And that's good old-fashioned back of the manual hex to decimal kind of
right.
Old school.
Old school stuff, but great sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And so again, is there a limitation? You're sampling the waveforms in the same way. Do you have to limit the speed?
You have to limit the speed, so you can't send in a very high rate. So these units, they can take a certain amount of SYSEX messages. Usually I recommend only 2 SYSEX messages per MIDI output port at a rate at 32.
Yeah, because it pushes everything else out of the way, doesn't it? Being
yeah,
SYSEX, yeah.
You will introduce a lot of jitter if you go higher.
And what about in terms of how so your LFOs go up to, you said 20 hertz?
You're right.
I mean, can you make, if you're using the CV ads, can you go higher than that, or is there a limitation?
In audio CV, you run with your sample rate of your DAW, so it's a full audio rate.
Ah, okay. And this is available now, and
this is available on our website,
which is
dialogaudio.com.
Of course. And how much does the?
Usually we are at $65 per license, but for the Superbooth we have off 40% off. So.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.